Welcome to today's news wrap up. Let's dive into the top stories making headlines. On President Trump's first day back in office, ICE arrested over 300 illegal immigrants, some of whom were charged with violent crimes like murder and child rape. Border Czar Tom Homan announced that mass deportation efforts and raids were underway, emphasizing the need for continued action given the high number of border crossings under the previous administration. Homan also mentioned that immigration raids would resume, including in sanctuary cities. President Trump has ordered active duty military forces to the southern border to address the illegal migrant situation following his recent executive order to bolster immigration enforcement. This move comes after ICE arrested 300 criminal aliens on Trump's first full day in office, with some charged with violent crimes. We already talked about that. But the deployment aims to support Border Patrol agents and allow ICE to focus on rounding up illegal migrants already inside the country. In a speech at the World Economic Forum, Ukrainian President Zelensky emphasized that Europe must stop relying on America and instead work together to secure itself. It's laughable. He stated that a minimum of 200,000 European soldiers would be needed to secure Ukraine after any peace deal, and criticized Russia's demand to reduce Ukraine's army size. Zelensky also highlighted the importance of Europe achieving energy independence from Russia. President Donald Trump has threatened to impose tariffs on Russian imports to the United States if Russia does not agree to end the war in Ukraine. Trump emphasized his good relationship with the Russian people and President Putin, but insisted that the war must end to avoid further economic sanctions. He also criticized the European Union for not contributing as much as the United States in military aid to Ukraine. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon stated that tariffs, while potentially inflationary, can be beneficial for national security and should be accepted if they serve that purpose. He emphasized that the way tariffs are used by the Trump administration to address trade and security issues is more important than the inflation they may cause. President Trump plans to implement a 10% tariff on China starting February 1st as part of his broader trade policy. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan praised the U.S. economy under the second Trump administration, highlighting deregulation and a competitive tax structure as key factors making the U.S. the top investment destination. He noted that the economic enthusiasm in 2025 is significantly higher, with expectations of increased mergers and acquisitions, IPOs, and GDP growth. Moynihan also emphasized the positive impact of produced regulations on business activities. Mark Zuckerberg admitted that Meta was pressured by the Biden administration to censor certain content, particularly related to COVID-19, which he believes was illegal. The Supreme Court dismissed the case challenging this censorship on a technicality, leading to concerns about the protection of free speech rights. Critics argue that this decision could set a dangerous precedent for future government actions against dissenting voices. Pope Francis criticized President Trump for his deportation policies, despite the Vatican recently implementing stricter rules for deporting illegal entrants. Talk about hypocrisy, right? Um, the Pope, the Pope's stance on open borders is hypocritical given the Vatican's new regulations. The perceived dangers of the Pope's advocacy for open borders are also a concern. Bloomingdale's will close its store in San Francisco Center Shopping Mall by late spring 2025. This follows other recent retail exits in the area, including Michael Kors, which I spoke on yesterday. Despite these closures, the mall continues to attract new tenants and remains home to several well-known brands. The World Economic Forum members in Davos, Switzerland, viewed Donald Trump's reelection as a significant setback for their globalist agenda. Some expressed concern over the diminishing influence of their preferred policies, which I'm happy that I'm happy that this is happening. The mood in the U.S. is celebratory, while the atmosphere among the global elites in Davos is serious and almost somber. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has called for U.S. troops to be deployed on the front lines in Ukraine, arguing that their presence is essential for security and the unity among NATO allies. I strongly oppose this idea. The risk of escalating the conflict and the potential for World War III. There is a potential for World War III. I believe Zelensky's request is an attempt to keep the U.S. in constant danger of war with Russia. The Trump administration's Justice Department has issued a memo threatening to prosecute state and local officials who resist federal immigration enforcement efforts. The memo outlines plans to challenge sanctuary city laws and prosecute federal prosecutors who decline to pursue immigration cases. The directive aims to ensure compliance with federal immigration-related commands and requests. House Speaker Mike Johnson announced that Congress will investigate President Biden's last-minute pardons of his family members and deep state officials, calling the actions shocking and unprecedented. Johnson highlighted the hypocrisy of Biden supporters who previously criticized the idea of similar pardons by former President Trump. The investigation aims to address public concerns and seek justice under the new Trump administration. President Trump has removed all National Security Council detailees and ordered a full review of new staff to ensure alignment with his agenda. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has fired 160 NSC staffers and is scrutinizing new personnel's social media activity, political contributions, and voting patterns. This move follows Trump's revocation of security clearances for 51 former intelligence officials who had previously claimed the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation. Y'all know I already talked about that. And lastly, Huntington Beach, California has declared itself a non-sanctuary city in response to Governor Gavin Newsom's policies, citing concerns over public safety and crime. The city council emphasized their commitment to protecting residents from state and federal policies they believe endanger their community. They argue that local governments must step in when state actions compromise the safety and well-being of their citizens, which I 1000% agree with. Well, that's it for today's news wrap-up. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.